Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello. Hi. We're going to start today by wishing all of you out there a happy Valentine's Day. We hope you all get a chance to celebrate love. More than half of us are celebrating this year, with the average person spending nearly $193.
Very specific.
Love is expensive.
Yeah, I love that. Most popular gift is candy, like those sweet conversation hearts that taste terrible, or a box of chocolates. 40% of people will be buying greeting cards. Flowers are a third most popular gift. 32% of you are splurging on an evening out, and 21% are buying jewelry. So I want to ask DBL Nation, my panelists, how do we all feel about the Hallmark holiday? Are you celebrating? And how do you feel about those gifts?
Jeff, I'm thinking about you.
I was like, you?
Well, first of all, happy birthday. That's a more important holiday. That's the more important holiday. So I'd rather celebrate Erica's birthday.
Oh, yes.
But we all know how I feel about Valentine's Day. Not a big fan, but haters. I did buy my wife flowers. There you go. Yeah. So I participated in the holiday reluctantly.
There we go.
Yeah.
Did you write a
the
card?
flowers spell out haters. There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a big fan of forcing things onto people. I feel like, hey, don't you love your wife? It shows on how much you buy her. That's not true. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm not a big fan of the Hallmark holiday. That's all.
Yeah, I will get something or give something to my husband because he's just a really great husband.
He really is.
But probably nothing big. I definitely said, like, let's not go all out. Like, it just feels like it's a lot right now.
Would he notice if you didn't do anything? Do you think he'd say something?
Well, there's been years where I've been like, don't do anything big, because it's more like, I like breaking bread with friends and family. Like, that's my love language. So we always do like a dinner or some type of, like, you know, gathering, generally multiple. But I'll give him something and he's like, well, we weren't supposed to, you know, he like
gets all
freaks
frazzled,
out. And I'm like, I just want to acknowledge that it's also Valentine's Day. So, you know, here's a card.
Has it been hard for you having birthday on Valentine's Day? Or is it nice?
Not in recent years. I mean, like, Anthony has nailed it every year.
Excellent.
But before, like, especially like growing up, high school, college, like those years, yeah, that was not great.
Yeah, I would imagine. Albert, are you a romantic?
It's not my jam, but I think I'm a lot like my dad. But I think I'm more in Jeff's camp, like, you know, I don't want to be kind of obligated. But I will say this, I do think that there are some people that need some prompting. I think they're like, I love my partner, and I think the world of them. But just because of how they grew up, who their parents were, they just don't know, like, hey, get your person some flowers, get your person that thing that they've been kind of eyeing for the last couple months. Like, prompting does help, and I think Valentine's Day is really good for that.
Yeah.
Plus chocolate.
I bought crab legs.
Oh,
yeah.
Nothing says I love you like getting some crab legs.
Seafood.
That's my love language.
That
I want to
is.
come over and be part of that love language.
Bread and crab legs. I like your love
What are you
languages.
doing?
My husband asked me to go out on a date with him on Valentine's Day, and I accepted the day after because he went on another date with someone else, and then we said we loved each other. So it's like our anniversary.
Okay, your spite anniversary.
Yep.
There we go.
At any age, more and more people are turning to dating apps to find love. And if you're having trouble making a connection, experts say one sure way to make more matches is to include a picture with your dog or puppy. Seems pretty simple. Researchers say it will make you look more desirable. But guys, it is not the same for cats. Okay? In fact, researchers found women are less likely to swipe right or say yes to men posing with their feline friends. So what do we think of this? And what about guys who borrow dogs for the profile pics? Is that dog fishing?
That is dog fishing.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah. I can understand this because it also, for as many likes or hits that you're getting, there's going to be people who are going to be like, I am not a dog person, I'm not a pet person. So I feel like it almost zeroes you in.
It weeds them
bit.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, it's tells you what kind of lifestyle this person leads. If there's someone who has a commitment to go home to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that they're taking care of their pets. So I think that is an effective way of weeding people out.
Yeah, it lets people know that you can't take impromptu trips. I'll just say this, hey, you know, why not be locked down? I think it's a good idea for guys with cats, and I'll tell you why. I know a lot of people kind of make fun and they laugh like a guy with cat. Look, the entire point, especially for men that are trying to attract the attention of women, is to narrow down the category that you fit into. Being a good-looking guy with a golden retriever and a nice car, that's cool. On that app, there's probably 50,000 guys like that. I say be the guy with cats. Stand out, because you don't need a million people to say yes. You actually want a million women to say no. All you need is one to say, that's my guy. That's why we say Dog the Bounty Hunter. He looks ridiculous. He looks ridiculous. But
I couldn't come up with another adjective.
He is the most ridiculous. But when he walks into the bar, 99% of the women go, that's the most ridiculous looking man. But one woman's like, that's my guy. And that's all you need.
That's a great
Yeah, but then you get to choose out of one.
Ask guys at the going out on a Saturday night if they could have those odds, they'll take it. Okay, if they're like, if one woman out here all night likes me, it's a win. All you need is one.
I like a guy with a. I just don't. I've heard from women they don't like it with men holding their fish that they've caught. That's a big no-no, and a lot of people are doing that. So stop doing that.
But there's some women that grew up in the outdoors that like that.
I've definitely took a picture with a fish.
Yeah.
No, but it's your profile pic on your dating app. It's like the #1 thing, and they're like, okay.
There are women that like outdoors, guys.
No, I
there
agree.
Are people that like outdoors.
There's a new Fox show, Farmer Wants Wife. Have you seen that?
Yes, it's like an incomplete sentence.
Yeah, I know, the grammar's not there. Okay, I was really mad about that. Actually, let's be real. Dating at any age can be hard, especially if you're newly back on the scene. And it seems like every year there are more and more dating terms to keep up with. So we've got a few new ones, and we're all gonna guess what they mean. I don't know either, okay? So up first is winter coating. What do you think winter coating means?
That's hooking up with someone, you're less aggressive about your criteria because it's wintertime, it's cuffing season.
See, I think it's like you gained a little weight over the winter. It's your winter coating for, we picked up some weight.
Is that what this is?
Christmas.
I'm just kidding. What do you think? That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm with that, like holiday weight.
Like an otter,
right?
like an otter.
It's a nice way.
College 15.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do it every year, holiday weight. Yeah, it's a real thing.
You work it off, though.
Yeah.
The #1 winter coating is Erica wins when you go back to that old standby person who you dated before just for the winter. I think it's to keep warm.
That's terrible.
I know. I was just
Listen,
putting my mic
don't
on.
get your hopes up. This is when summer comes out and people are out, you are going back in the closet. Yeah. I love you, though. I love you. Let's have some fun in February.
All right, up next is eco-dumping. I want you all at home to think, what does eco-dumping mean? Anyone can tell me.
Eco-dumping.
Maybe eco-dumping. Economy? This is something to do with money?
Fair.
Good. If you're broke and you're like, I can't take anybody out right now.
I can't afford to be in a relationship.
Dates are expensive. I think people that are on Tinder, like, I got 6 dates this week, and then you're like, that's a lot of money. You know, so
Eco-dumping is, okay, you were all wrong.
Okay.
Eco-dumping is ending a date because of someone's lack of commitment to environmental
I was going to say that, but I thought that was ridiculous.
Not to the people below us, the Gen Xers whose world is
Tori,
burning.
you're not above anybody.
I know. But I am in terms of age.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, here we go. Affordating.
You date who you can afford to date.
Yes,
we're sticking around the money theme here on this end of the table.
What does that mean, though, Erica? Like, you can date.
Well, because
what kind of dates?
You know, like you're saying, oh, I'm more of a let's go to a movie and and maybe grab McDonald's on the way home. But this person is like, no, I need a steak and lobster.
Oh, I love steak and lobster.
So you can't afford to date them.
Okay, well, first of all, I love steak and lobster. Your answer is absolutely.
Very unique taste you have. Yeah.
I like food. Short for affordable dates or first dates like coffee catch-ups, walks, or sober dinners that don't have to break the bank.
But a lot of women don't like
dates.
that, though. I would say a lot of people would be offended at that.
Not in this economy. You think? Yes. I would be like, I totally get that.
I guarantee you, we have friends that'll be like, I hooked up with this person on this app, we matched, and they wanted to go for a walk. Or they want to go to the park. Dead giveaway for.
Those are our friends, or like the people that you're thinking about isn't who this is for. Like, people are dating in numbers. When you said there's 6 dates in a week, which is just bananas.
Good point.
But like, if you are dating like that, and some people are doubling up in a date on one night.
Yeah.
Like, you either have to have some serious financial means, or you're gonna have to get really creative about what a date means.
Yeah,
to you.
you're going to have to afford a date. After date. I feel like we can workshop it. Okay, coming up on DBL, we're sticking with the Valentine's Day theme with dating expert Monique Kelly. She's sharing some great advice from singles. She is lovely. And what's with all the UFOs? Okay, we're going to be talking about the possibilities of aliens being among us next. And it's weird because we didn't open with that story. Our viewers are talking about DBL. Yes!
I like that.
Leaves me speechless. I'm like blushing. Thank you, thank you. That's emotional.
Do I want to sit there and watch them? Yes, I do.
Okay, after dating.
Wait. Also, Al, Valentine's Day isn't always the most romantic day of the year. In fact, 7% of us have ended one. Anyone here ended I've ended a relationship on Valentine's Day.
Was that on purpose?
It was really mean. No, it was Esteban. It just had fizzled in the 8th grade, and I did it at recess, and the school shunned me because it was not a nice thing to do.
Did you make a spectacle of it?
Like, it was just in front of everyone a little bit.
You broke up with him in front of everyone on Valentine's Day.
Like, I had him come over, and everyone was on their break, and I was like, it's not going to work out. And then he went away, and everyone was like...
That's what King Joffrey would do in Game of Thrones.
I feel bad. Esteban, I'm so sorry. He was such a lovely man.
I'm sure Esteban was a lovely
He
man
really is.
in
He has a
8th
lovely
grade.
family now.
Do you think that you have to do something kind of messed up that you're embarrassed about to kind of learn about? You're not going to go your whole life and nail it the whole time. Sometimes, like, you have to be like, that was not cool. I'm really embarrassed.
Well, I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to like love and relationships, it's when that same thing happens to you that you realize the impact that it had to have had or possibly had on the other person.
I would agree.
And that's how a lot of us learn our lessons. But then other things are just, character flaws.
And I think when you're young, you do have a lot of character flaws. But I wonder if you just have to, even if it doesn't happen to you, I definitely have been driving in my adult years and be like, oh, that was not cool. But I just thought, it's like, oh yeah, I told her I wasn't gonna come. She's fine. I was like, oh, she probably wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. But I didn't even. You're young and goofy. You just don't understand the impact of your actions.
Well, hopefully, you live more, you learn more.
Welcome back to DBL. There's a lot of news out there today, including we do want to get to the mass shooting at Michigan State University that left 3 people dead and another 5 wounded last night. We just want to take this time to say our thoughts, our prayers go out to everyone affected. I went to school at University of Michigan, and my heart is with all of them in East Lansing, and we are thinking of them very, very deeply. People are also still talking about the UFOs flying all over America. We still don't know a whole lot about the Chinese spy balloon or all those other objects that were found and shot down over the weekend. But the White House is now ruling out one thing. And this is not a joke. Take a look.
Well, I just wanted to make sure we address this from the White House. I know there have been questions and concerns about this, but there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Wanted to make sure that the American people knew that, all of you knew that, and it was important for us to say that from here because we've been hearing a lot about it.
Would you tell us?
I'm just, I loved E.T., the movie, but I'm just going to leave it there.
So, that's not cool. What's your take on what's going on with these unidentified flying objects and why we're only now just hearing about them being found? Do you feel like we're being left in the dark?
No, I feel like I think they're slow walking it.
So that's the dark.
I think no. I mean, it's
dim.
They're not really. They're not saying that's ridiculous. I keep feeling like they're getting ready to tell us. They just want to make sure we're ready to tell us that there's extraterrestrial. What do you think, Erica? Am I tripping?
No, I don't understand. I know I'm going to get crap for this, but I don't need to know. I don't. It's like, you know, that awkward conversation that your parents had with you when you realized that, like, you weren't rich when you were little. You don't need to tell us that we may not have lights next week because I'm 7 and there's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
You know, like I'm just a person on this earth. Yeah, and there's nothing I can do about what am I supposed to do? So I don't know. I just don't feel like I want to know.
I want to know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, I definitely want to know. We're sticking with the alien theme here, right? I don't know. Break bread? You know what I mean? I'll be the spokesperson.
First of all, if we got a week's heads up, we can start to coordinate plans, get our food together.
Guys, for what?
How could there not be other, like, let's get into that campfire. We'll pass it around.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something else out there. I don't think these balloons are necessarily it.
Right.
But I think it's more other countries, but there's got to be other life forms out there.
Raise
right?
your hand on this panel if you think that there's other life forms out there.
Absolutely.
Raise your hand.
I just did.
I know, but I want to see how many of us and all of people around.
Well,
Nobody
raise your hand.
panel.
Okay, I'm sorry. Raise your hand. So a lot of you.
Yes.
I think it's absurd to think we're the only ones. Am I right?
Right.
No, I think it's very arrogant to think that.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, you can think and feel confident that that is the truth and not need to be like, hey, here they are.
But even if the answer is absolutely there are, like you said, Erica, now what? I mean, I guess the only thing is,
well,
but these balloons aren't it. I mean,
maybe
if there are other life forms and they're coming here in a balloon,
it's not a good sign.
We win.
it's not them. That's like their Postmates.
Yeah.
They're just sending us. What if they're sending us gifts and we're shooting them down and they're like, oh, we were trying to be nice.
It was Valentine's Day in your world.
Oh, that's nice.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. We'll be right back. Hey, guys.
Have you ever noticed that the ads sometimes seem louder than the show you're watching? If so, you're not alone. One verified viewer emailed us to say the ads seem to keep getting louder and louder and wants to know if that's allowed. So, let's verify. Is there a law that regulates the volume of TV commercials? Our sources are the Federal Communications Commission, the Commercial Advertisement Loudness Mitigation, or CALM Act, TV maker Sony, and Jonathan Ogle, founder of advertising agency The Infinite Agency. In 2010, Congress passed the CALM Act, which bans the audio of commercials on broadcast, cable, and satellite TV from being louder than the average volume of the program. The law doesn't apply to streaming services since they're not regulated by the FCC. The FCC also says stations aren't allowed to alter commercials, so Ogle says advertisers work with stations to ensure their ads are compliant.
Our job is to make sure that we're hitting the specs that the platforms and the networks have asked. And so as we submit those files, typically we're trying to do that in what's called an average audio volume level, and then it's up to the networks to play it at those same levels.
So yes, there is a law that regulates the volume of TV commercials. So how can you keep the ads from sounding too loud? Try adjusting the audio settings on your TV. Some models have features that help keep the volume consistent or normalized across programs and commercials. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
DBL is getting fabulous! February 13th and 14th, the lovable Carson Kressley will join the DBL panel live.
Oh my God, there's that clear guy!
The award-winning superstar will be here as a special guest co-host.
Sit down, please. Oh, nice.
February 13th and 14th on DBL.
This is going to be a big coming out.
Welcome back. Happy Valentine's Day. Earlier, we sat down with one of our favorite dating experts, Monique Kelly, to talk about Valentine's Day dating, and our co-host Carson Kressley was there too. Check it out.
All right, well, Monique, you know that a lot of people have mixed feelings about Valentine's Day, even people on this panel. So how do you go on a Valentine's date and manage your expectations so it doesn't end up in a fight?
Ooh.
Okay, so I like how it doesn't end up in a fight. Al, let's keep it real. Most men do not wake up and say, I am so excited, Valentine's Day is coming up. But but you suck it up for your significant other. So if you are one of those girly girls, those women that love Valentine's Day, it's important early on you let your guy know that you love Valentine's Day. And that's okay, but you also have to manage your expectations, because I see so many people ruin blossoming relationships over Valentine's Day, expecting lavish gifts, expecting someone to do the most. So manage your expectations while making sure your significant other knows that you love Valentine's Day.
That's right. Cheesecake Factory and back home.
I like the cheesecake.
I do too. They do have good martinis.
But plus, wouldn't people be excited because they know they're probably going to get lucky? I mean, it's like almost a guarantee. Like, guys should be into Valentine's Day, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but hello. Monique, this is my theory. I think that Instagram is the new singles bar. And is that an acceptable way to meet people now? Because I think it is.
Asking for a friend.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm so with you, Carson, because people are sliding into the DMs more than they're swiping left and right, okay? And here's the thing. Pay attention to who is kind of liking your pictures more often, who is commenting more often, because you might make a connection. You have to be open to all the various possibilities. And in addition to that, I always tell people, you're not going to meet your guy going to the spa with the girls. You have to go where the men are, okay? Men are usually somewhere golf related. Men are at sporting events. Men are also like to go to steakhouses. So I tell women, don't be afraid to sit at a bar by yourself, go to a fabulous steakhouse, order a nice martini and a meal at the bar. You can meet people. And if you choose to go with your girls, don't go with a huge group of girls. Go with one other girlfriend, maybe two max, so that you're approachable. And here's something for people who are a little more seasoned, as 40 plus people. Don't sleep on homecomings, especially HBCU homecomings or high school reunions, because a lot of times you're going to meet people who are about your same age. You know, you guys are both in the same age bracket, and 9 times out of 10, most people are divorced. So they're on their second chance at love.
I didn't know how you were going to get around that. You went straight at it.
Straight at it.
That's just keeping it real.
Big facts on that, yes.
That's really good. Monique, I have a question.
Yeah.
They gave me the anxious question because I am.
Yes.
Let's say you're going on a Valentine's date. How do you come across as your best self despite really so many butterflies in your stomach? The nerves are bad.
Yeah, like Tori, it's especially as you get older, you have to make sure you're aware of the dating narrative you tell yourself. You have to go into it with an open mind. And I think for a lot of times as we get older, you know, you have a little bit more baggage. You have a lot of past hurts, maybe divorces, long-term relationships ending. And for a lot of women in particular, you go on that date, you're like, let's skip through all the foolishness, and you treat it like an interview instead of having organic, natural conversations.
Right.
So make sure, you know, you have organic conversations. Stop putting your wedding gown in your purse on your first or second date, okay, ladies?
Tori.
And have those good conversations.
Okay.
Monique, you always give the best advice. We love you. Thank you for sharing the love.
Really
DBL
good.
Nation, make sure that you check out Monique on Instagram at Cocktails and Confessions for more dating advice. And don't forget to pick up a copy of Monique's book, Reality and Chaos, wherever books are sold. Happy Valentine's Day,
Awesome,
Monique.
as always.
I'm going
Valentine's Day, my
golfing.
heart. Yes.
Men are.
Then
Let's
maybe
go
at the
golfing
steakhouse.
and get some steak, everybody.
We'll be right back. Thanks,
done.
Monique.
That was very funny.
Bye, guys.
The Better Business Bureau, FTC, and FBI all report romance scams have been on the rise throughout the pandemic, with people posing as potential heartthrobs, instead stealing your cash. In 2021, people reported a record $547 million in losses to the FTC, up by about 80% from reports the agency received in 2020. We turn to these sources to learn the signs to swipe away from someone before they swipe something from you. The typical romance scam is a criminal adopting a fake online identity to gain trust and affection, then using that close relationship to manipulate their love interest into sharing money, all the while making up excuses to avoid actually meeting. Let's talk red flags. This one might hurt, but if they're too good to be true. Gorgeous photos, perfect job, amazing lifestyle make a scammer's job of luring you easier. If they're in a hurry to get off the app, unsecured chat apps, texts, emails, they leave you more vulnerable. And if they're hurrying in general, for that matter, if they seem sweet, genuine, caring, talking about a future together a little more quickly than typical relationships, they could be drawing you close to take advantage of you. A lot of spelling or grammar mistakes or using phrases that just don't make sense are often signals of scammers. Before moving on to ask you for money, the scammer may hint at financial troubles, like their heat being cut off or their car being stolen. They may even share a sad story from their past. So consider these ground rules for online dating. Never send money or bank information to someone you've never met. If they even ask, cut them off. Prepaid debit cards and wire transfers are especially shady. Be careful about what you post and make public online. That might make you a more understandable target. Do a reverse image search on their profile apps. Uploading their profile pictures to tineye.com or Google Images can tell you where it actually came from. And don't think just because you made the first move, they're not trying to pull a fast one on you. Our experts say scammers flood dating websites just waiting for good targets. Okay, say you have fallen victim or think you may have. Stop communication immediately. Report the person on the app where you met, contact your bank if you sent them money, and report it to the authorities. We have links to do that on our website. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Be honest, you've probably used someone else's Netflix login. You're not alone. Netflix estimates 100 million households share passwords. So people were understandably upset when Netflix briefly posted plans to crack down on password sharing. Netflix quickly clarified the new rules only apply to users in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru, where it's currently testing a pay-to-share model. This prompted many US users to declare victory because Netflix backed down. But did Netflix really back down from plans to prevent password sharing? Our sources are Netflix and an independent check of Netflix's US policies. Last year, Netflix launched a password sharing trial in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. It allows customers to pay about $3 for each account user not in their household. In January of this year, Netflix told shareholders it plans to begin rolling this out to more countries, and just on Wednesday, announced it will start cracking down in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. So while we confirmed Netflix isn't currently charging US users to share passwords, it did not back down on plans to crack down on password sharing. Netflix has not indicated if or when this could start in the US. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Today's sandals word of the day is sunglasses. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2 to beautiful Jamaica.
Welcome back. Nice Jamaica. Well, it's a little switch of gears here. If you suffer from arthritis, you aren't alone. Nearly 60 million Americans have it. Stop it, you guys. But there are simple exercises you can do to help manage it. Whoa, that scared me. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. According to experts, low-impact exercise is a great way to manage arthritis pain. These exercises include walking, biking, swimming. You can also dance or even garden. And don't forget, yoga or Pilates is also great for arthritis. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. So go ahead and call 1-800-813-6801 or visit omegaxl.com for more information. We hope we have a lovely Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whoa, Jamaica.
Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Bye.